Hey guys. So, I wanted to air out my frustrations a little bit in regards to my mother in law. Um, she's been kind of getting on my nerves with things lately. Like, she's been trying to be helpful, don't get me wrong, and I really appreciate that. But she keeps wanting my husband and I to both apply for this job where her niece works. And it is farther away than where Jacob lives. And even though we got the tires fixed on the car, um, there are still issues with the car. Like it needs a belt or something. I can't remember exactly what Paul said it needed, but it needs some sort of belt. And because it needs these things done, I don't want to drive that far just to make $13 an hour. Like, if it was more than that, then obviously it might be worth it. But considering that the job is 5 days a week, so it's Monday through Friday, and it is um, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., we would have to leave our house before 5 o'clock in the morning. We wouldn't get home until after 5 o'clock at night. And it's just, to me, it's too far of a distance. And I was telling her, like, my husband and I have been going to different hiring events and things like that. Um, I have, like, at least 3 interviews already set up for next week, possibly four. Um, And like right now, I'm scheduled Monday through Wednesday currently for interviews next week. And I told her that, and then she's like, "Oh, that's awesome." And then she brought up this other job, and um, I was like, "Thank you, but I don't think that it's doable because one, my thing is with how my health is, I don't want to take this job knowing that there's a chance that I won't be able to drive that far. One, because of my migraines. When I get my migraines, I cannot hardly drive anywhere if I can drive at all. Um, and certain migraine medications that I'm taking right now are making this eye twitch like crazy. Um, and I know that it's the medication to prevent my migraines only because I stopped taking it for a week and I only took the other medications that I needed for my migraines and the eye twitching stopped. Once I started that medication again, the eye twitching started again. So I know that it's my preventative migraine medication that is causing these issues. Um, so yeah, I just don't want to make that commitment to a workplace or to a job where I know that I probably won't be able to follow through on actually getting to work. Not to mention the fact that I already have all these other interviews set up for places that are within a 15-minute drive. So next week on Monday, I have a second interview for the hematology oncology clinic for a medical assistant job. The only thing that I'm not sure about that, like, is they want you to do IVs, and I'm a little bit uncomfortable doing IVs. Um, well, first of all, I can't do them right now because I'm not trained in it. I don't have the IV certification. And secondly, because it's cancer patients and I don't want to mess anything up or, like, hurt them in some way, if that makes sense. Because a lot of cancer patients have really fragile veins, and so that kind of scares me. Um, Stop, Tucker. On Tuesday, I have an interview with a nursing home, basically to be a shower aide, um, what they call a hygiene assistant. They contacted me yesterday, so on Tuesday, I will go do that interview. And then on Wednesday, there is a hiring event for a non medical job. It's at a pizza restaurant that's not far from my mother in law's house, and they're basically hiring for every position. And my husband is going to go with me to that just to see if he can get something. Um, Plus, I still have um, interviews with Amazon for both the delivery warehouse jobs, plus actually driving the van, delivering packages. So I have stuff that's in motion. I just have to see which one pans out for me because I know something's gonna work out. So, um, it's just frustrating that she keeps trying to shove this one job down our throats, basically. Like, she texted me about this job 3 times yesterday, and it was just a little annoying. Um, but other than that, like, we had some problems yesterday um, with the landlord. He stopped over and he was being like really negative and kind of mean towards my husband. Like, he was talking to him in a degrading way, as if my husband didn't know anything. And my husband was just trying to stay calm and not let it get to him. But, you know, when somebody is talking down to you and treating you like you're an imbecile, you tend to get a little frustrated. So after the landlord left yesterday, um, my husband called my mother in law just to kind of vent to her, because if you guys didn't know, my mother in law is a mental health counselor. Um, and that's what she does for work. Like, she deals with children and their relationships with their parents, but um, you know, she still, like, for some reason, everybody else in the family seems to be able to vent to my mother in law, but when my husband tries to do it, she gets mad. And, like, they were having a screaming match over the phone yesterday, and I just felt bad for my husband because I was like, well, you know, he was just trying to get his feelings out, but she was not trying to hear any of it. So, I don't know. I mean, like, I get that the reason why we're in this situation is partly our own fault, partly COVID, but it's just like having somebody constantly remind you of the mistakes that you made is not really helpful when you're trying to pull yourself up out of a situation like this. So, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to tell you guys what was going on. Um, but yeah, that's kind of where things stand. At this point, we are, I think, a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks away from our third appointment with eviction court. So stay tuned if you want to see what happens if we end up losing the house or if we end up keeping it. So I guess you'll find out as things develop.